good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ is off this evening. But we are glad to be black with you right here on the Brooklyn Bridge, yet for another week. A lot to discuss. We were off last week due to technical difficulties. I tell you, boy, they like messing with us sometime, but that's the way the cookie crumbles as long as we bounce back. So we are back again this week and glad to have y'all on the bridge with us. We have so much to discuss. Elections are over, crypto collapse, uh, tech company layoffs, the European Jewish community pressure is still on, sellouts among us. So much to discuss. And we have also a very, very special guest coming in the second hour, the legend himself, Wu Tang, Sons of Man's very own Killer Priest will be in the building along with
Yeah.
our brother Knowledge Born Allah. So I'm excited. Brother Ted, how you feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling good, sis. I'm feeling good. I had a good week. Week been so busy, I didn't even get a chance to shave and clean up a little bit, but it's all right. I'll be fine. Life is good. You know. Shout out to all our folks on the check-in too. Sister Joyce, Brother Peace, Sister Farnessa, and everybody else who tuned in. If your first time here, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. You know. But life is good, sis. I was with all the good news, I was a little disheartened by the murder of our sister Shanquella Robinson, and I'm quite sure we could touch on that later on in the show, but it was weighing heavy on my heart being a father with young adult children that like to travel with quote unquote friends. And it shows how sick we've become as a group, as a people, you know. But I don't want to get too deep into that just yet. We like to start our show upbeat, lighthearted. So yeah, life is good. Last weekend we celebrated Grandma's birthday. The children brought the grandchildren by. Graham Dukes is 86 years young. I tell you, I ain't put the videos up, but shoot, Grandma was shaking the leg by herself. She didn't even need nobody else. We put on the music, she was gone. I'm like, God, Grandma, let them know life is for the living. You got to celebrate life, enjoy life. I'm just thankful to still have her around. So it was a good look. It's definitely a good look.
Definitely, definitely. And again, happy belated birthday to her. We have to appreciate our elders and our family while we still have them and be thankful that we have them. We just recently lost a giant in our movement, um, the esteemed elder, Sister Colea Clark, um, who I believe going home service is tomorrow. And brother Mike Grays, aka the History Hitman, will be speaking at her going home service. Sister Colea Clark was the secretary of the late Medgar Evers, and she also worked with Dr. Martin Luther King. She was a former New York Senator candidate here, and did so many things, including championing in 2013 the New York Freedom Party. So peace be upon her family at this time. We keep them in our prayers and our thoughts. And this just shows that we are losing a lot of our greats. And some of us don't even know who Sister Colea Clark was. And so tonight we'll touch on that a little bit. But you know, we also went with the Black Achievement Fund. Shout out to the Black Achievement Fund.
Yeah.
Last Saturday, we went to see the film Wakanda Forever with them. Yes, we did. Brother Tab, Brother Ashe, and myself, Sister Marcia, who will be in a few minutes, also went to see the film. So we'll give our insights on that as well. It's always good. And shout out to the African Village, Africans on the Rise. Um, we were all there together, seeing the film, and it's good to see it with people of like minds, people of like spirit. So that's always a plus. And even I had Mr. Forrester out there with us.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Big Brother Rohan.
Yes, yes, yes. He even came out to see the film with us. And we definitely going to touch on that. And again, like you said, I think the sister's name was Shanquella Johnson.
Yes.
We going to
Chantel Robinson. Shanquella.
Roberts, right? Um, who went on a trip with her friends. I believe it was maybe supposed to be her Earth Day trip to Cabo, Mexico, and ended up getting beaten to death by her alleged friends. And what's even more disturbing is that the police in Mexico said there was no foul play, even though the assault was recorded and everyone in the world has seen it. I'm not surprised about the commentary from the country of Mexico as it relates to death of black people. Remember what happened to Malcolm's grandson when he
Yeah.
lost his life over there. They too said there was no foul play. And so it just brings everything into perspective that Dr. Claude Anderson has been telling us for quite some time is that everyone is against black people. And we've seen that play out um, in recent news with um, entertainers who choose to stand up against it. But we'll get into that a little later as well. Your thoughts, Brother Tad, on this gruesome beating of this young lady with people who she thought were her friends. Today is my daughter's Earth Day. Shout out to my daughter Aaliyah. And wherever she goes, the family's in tow. So her tight crew is her cousins. She got a couple of friends here and there, but her crew is her cousins. And I think that's what's missing today, Brother Tad. You don't have that family connection, um, to do these things with and to be your ride or die. The first hand you should raise is for your family. You understand? My family is going with me. My family, but it's unfortunate. But let me step off my soapbox. Your thoughts, Brother Tad, on this gruesome assault of this sister?
Well, sis, I can't agree with you more. We always encourage our audience to always be family centered, family centered, African centered, community centered, community oriented. My heart was heavy when I saw the video. I saw the video prior to learning that she was found dead. But what gets me is that this alphabet community always, almost always, are silent when one of their own commits these heinous acts. Black folks, we always condemn folks of our community that do foolishness. You know, we hold our people accountable, though it may not seem like we do. But those who don't identify with the black community and like to identify with the alphabet folks, I have a big problem with that, because what kind of man would sit there and well, we know what kind of man, what kind of male, but would videotape two females fighting that's supposed to be your friends and you're supposed to be on vacation, but egging them on like it's some kind of schoolyard, public schoolyard brawl, telling her Quella fight back, Quella fight back. I'm like, how about you just break it up and not even record it? That should have never even happened. As friends, you're supposed to quell all arguments. Every time you go on vacation, it's supposed to be a chance to decompress and relax, not go there for all types of violence and anxiety. That's part one. Part two, and I always say this, Sister Keisha, us being part of organizations, folks have to get vetted. Folks have to get vetted. It's the same code in the streets. You have to get vetted. I'm not gonna go out the country with just anybody. And we got to learn to read body language when we talk about communication. We got to really assess who's really our friends and who aren't. Because I'm quite sure there had to be little nuances before they even left America, before they left North Carolina, to let you know these people ain't really your friends. And this is just so disheartening because we see this time and time again. And it's unfortunate because it's mostly amongst our females. I think of the little girl who's about 12 years old in Harlem, I believe it was, went to a quote unquote friend sleepover and they threw boiling water on her while she was asleep. Pretty little sister, you know? And I mean, what is it that we call these people friends, or this is how we treat our quote unquote friends? But it shows you how far we've sank as a community and as a people. We really have to start assessing our behavior and what's good. But one thing, right before I step off my soapbox, Sister Keisha, that always gets me, and this is the tie-in with the Jewish community and what we're dealing with them right now. It's amazing that in school we're not taught the greatness of our story, of who we are. So even if somebody say that we're Hebrews or we're this or we're that, if we talk about certain aspects of our history outside of slavery, that's taboo. Critical race theory is racist in itself. Don't do that. You're offending the little white kids and all that foolishness. So at one hand, we can't talk about our story, about who we are, about how we came from greatness and what has been done to us for us to behave how we behave right now in this social construct called America. But on the other side, you got this Jewish community that make big bank off of selling this degenerate images, these degenerate behaviors, the lyrics, the whether we talking about music, whether we talking about black exploitation movies, whether we talking about sitcoms that they've stolen from who we know to be black people to write these shows, and then they rewrite the script and put in airs of degeneracy in it. And now it's been going on so long, our children don't know who we are, and they think that criminality is synonymous with black folks. So if you're not behaving like a criminal, you're not really down. You're not really black. If you're not talking some foolishness, if you're not talking about drug dealing, using drugs, or violence in our community, you're not really black. If you're talking about uplifting the community, reading the book, becoming a better person, you're talking white. You sound crazy to the community. And it's up to us to change it. Sure enough, as we have people transitioning, our elders are turning into ancestors. Sister Keisha, it's our job, as well as our audience, those of like minds. We have to start working on our character and fashion ourselves to be the new elders, because pretty soon we'll be ancestors and we want to leave a legacy behind. And part of our legacy is always going to have to debunk the myth of what blackness really is. We can't always be fighting each other. We can't always be arguing. And we definitely can't be killing people who are supposed to be our friends. Like, this is horrible. Bad enough, we got so many other people to deal with. Because look, this happened in Mexico, right? If the sister didn't get killed by her quote unquote friends, we still have to deal with the trafficking that goes on out in these other countries where it almost seem like they're kidnapping us at a high rate. But I'm gonna step off my soapboxes, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. You know,
No, you're right. And, we have to define who we are. Unfortunately, there was such a large grace period when it comes to the abuse of Black culture and the Black family. We allowed that to happen for too long without checking it. Um, and two, as you said, we are the new elders or becoming the new elders. I'm not trying to be on the level of a 12-year-old or a 17-year-old or a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old. I command a certain level of respect within and outside of my family, just how I carry myself. So, being in our presence, you already know how we get down. Whether it's Brother Tad, Brother Ashe, or Brother Peace who's on a check in, or Brother Ray Ray, we carry ourselves in a particular way. But unfortunately, it is not the norm now. You have elders who behave as if they are children, behave as if they are young adolescent, and it's confusing and conflicting. You cannot command respect, you cannot garner respect, you cannot lead a community when you are confused yourself. I was looking at some videos of people who, our folks, who go through these body transformation surgeries. You have a lot of brothers who are chasing tail just like the white man does and expect to win in relationships and wonder why you fail. You can't behave like the enemy and expect to win as a black man. It doesn't work. It never has, it never will. You have to be yourself. And shout out to the community cop crew. When Brother Mike Graves, or the history hitman as we call him here on the platform, when he closes out, he always say, be yourself, love yourself, and don't be ashamed of doing that. We got a problem with being ourselves. We are so far removed. Back in the day, we would look and laugh at white folks who would argue with their children, white children who were disrespectful to their parents. That was something foreign to us. Even those who were doing al- allegedly bad things in these streets, when
Right.
someone's mother or father or grandmother was in your presence, you knew to stop that. Our generation, unfortunately, dropped the ball, and that's Generation X, because we had to deal with so much. There has never been a time in our history in this country where the assault on black people was so great than of us who came out of Generation X. We went through the heroin epidemic, the crack epidemic, destruction of black family epidemic. Right now, you just had
The weaponization of our music and entertainment.
absolutely, absolutely, and even the great artists of the world. If you read the memoirs of Da Vinci or many others, and they always say the same thing: you cannot constrain an artist, because the artist dictates how society should flow. And how society flows is how the political apparatus conforms themselves. So when you have artists who are pigeonholed to do a certain type of acting, a certain type of music, it throws off the frequency of the people and they become disjointed. It is the culture that becomes fragmented. Art always dictates the culture. Back when we were coming up in the 80s and 90s, yes, you had your party songs, but you also had songs of upliftment. There was never a higher enrollment of black children going to college, in particularly HBCUs, during the 90s period, because of the artistic expression that was exposed to us. Even when watching television, you had shows like The Cosby Show, Different World. I wanted to go to a HBCU because of A Different World. You understand? I started to study AKAs and deltas and all of that just from watching A Different World. You understand? And so, um, we have pigeonholed or allowed others to pigeonhole our artistic expression, and it threw off the vibration of who we are as a people, and everybody is disjointed and fragmented, and we have to get it back on track, because we are moving into Web 3.0, right? Or what some people like to call the metaverse. Web 3.0 is just an upgrade of internet as you know it now. Back then when Web 1.0, you had dial up, right? It took
That was
forever.
AOL.
Yes,
AOL.
all you could do was read things, right? So then you had Web 2.0, which allowed the user to become interactive, in particular in business and in social gatherings, right? But Web 3.0 will take it to another dimension. So, for example, right now we're streaming. You see us, we see you. But when 3.0 kicks in, you will all be able to sit at a table with us, and we will be able to engage each other in that manner. That's just one aspect of it, right? But we have, and I said this before, it really bothers me that a lot of our people are so far behind, so far behind. And being in that position allows other people to take advantage of you yet again, right? Because when everybody was talking about the internet back in the 80s, people said that's crazy stuff, right? Now internet is the norm, right? And
Sister.
as Tony Brown always said, if we don't know how to take control of it, we in trouble. We in serious trouble. And that's what's happened. We've allowed everybody to place before our people, our children in particular, a false reality of what life is and who they are. And that is the problem. But I'm gonna get off my
Yes,
soapbox.
you hit on so many dope points, and I'm gonna, because I do want to talk about Wakanda Forever. But to go back to what you were saying about the different world, about the 80s and 90s, you know, the Cosby Show, because we also had Spike Lee putting out good movies, you know, conscious movies to make you think, like Do the Right Thing, as well as School Days, thing that spoke to our experience. And I say that because whether we like his politics or his ideas, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what he produced as an artist to make us think, to tell parts of our story. Like I said, School Days, you had Do the Right Thing. We had Crooklyn that definitely took you inside of our homes. You know what I mean? I mean, Spike Lee really was able to tell our story. And then, because I'm gonna tie this to Wakanda Forever, in this journey of Black consciousness, we have to be very careful on who and where we get information from, because some people are just angry. They just angry, and they want things to be how they think they should be, as opposed to what's in the best interest of the group. What do I mean by that? When the Cosby Show came out, a lot of Black folks were saying that's not real. I don't know no Black people that live like that. Me, I didn't either. I'm from the hood. But I did know Black doctors and Black lawyers existed. And everything is not synonymous with poverty and criminality. And you get one facet of our community complaining about that. And another facet, you know, are being inspired by it. And I say that to say that as we move into this new millennium now, because what we talking about was last century, last millennium. We talking about the 1900s. We talking about 1999, 1980 something. We're in 2000 something now. Whole two generations, two lifetimes now. Over 40 something years we talking about. Over 40 years later, we're talking about, we still having these little debates. So here you get Wakanda Forever. First, we was tired of the slave movies, right? Which I wasn't, and I'm be honest with you. Why? Because we've moved so far from our story. Most Black people aren't even qualified to talk about slavery. And let's really tell the truth. Most Black people say, oh, that's slavery, that's slavery. If you knew what slavery was, you would recognize it today on what's going on with Kanye and Kyrie Irving. You know how the NBA will attack these small guys, but won't attack Amazon, another big wig white guy. See, you always want to beat on the quote unquote little guy and get mad when the black man stands up and practice self-determination. Say, I'm gonna define myself. You're not gonna tell me I'm not Hebrew. Now, I don't subscribe to that, but if you do, that's your right. That's your prerogative. And I will not tell you not to do that, and nor should anybody else be able to tell you who you are. You define yourself. That's one of the principles of Kwanzaa, Kuji Chakalia. So I bring that to Wakanda Forever. Our folks say we tired of these movies. Let's show some positive images of Africa. Well, here we are with the fantasy movie. We know that's part of the Marvel universe. But when they depict us, when we go see Wakanda, we're viewed in the best light. But if you know your African history, you will see all the African nuances giving homage to our culture. Giving homage to the ancestors, honoring tradition, talking about values of strong character in leadership. It talks about leadership skills and the importance of leadership development. It talks about the intergenerational ideas of traditional, not, I don't want to say verses, but in parallel to new age thinking, what the young people think. Because young people always think they know more than older people. That's just a fact. Because young people don't have enough life experiences. We all was there before when we thought we knew more than our parents. Our parents ain't hip. They don't know what's up. But there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. As Dr. Amos Wilson said, things may change superficially, but fundamentally they remain the same. Just like the oppression of our people, to where we can't speak up and speak our truths. Long as we dribble or rap or dance, we all right. Long as we entertaining them, we're fine. But this is what we were brought here for, to build their American dream, not facilitate ours. And I want to wrap this up, but it's so multi-layered, right, Sister Keisha? So I bring in imagination, Dr. Amos Wilson, and the not developmental psychology, Awaken the Natural Genius in Black Children, the Pink Book. He talks about the importance of children playing and using their imagination, playing make-believe. And why is that important? Because as our community, Sister Keisha, as you know, our Black African-centered community, we so hell-bent on facts, so hell-bent on facts. We don't think abstract. We don't think for the future. We don't think of what the future can be, not understand it. This is how the mind works. Everything that's in existence come out of the mind. It comes with a vision for the future. But we keep revisiting the past. Sankofa is to look back, to move forward. We just keep looking back. That's why we stuck. That's why we don't recognize slave behaviors when we see it. That's why we don't recognize oppression when we see it. So imagination is very important. So for our young people to see the potential of what their community, their real village could be, particularly with technology, is very important. Like you said, we moving into Red 3.0. Most of our folks don't even want to deal with technology. They just happy with Facebook. They just happy to learn how to play on their phone. But the world is moving so rapidly, and we're still stuck behind. We're still trying to win today's game with yesterday's score. And that ain't how the game go. That is not how the game go. So I get it. Some people don't want to support the movie. And this is not an avocation for the movie. This is an avocation for us to provoke thought in our people and look at the unlimited possibilities. Because if you can't see it with your mind's eye, look at it on the big screen with the brother. I forget his name. What's his name? Ryan Coogler. Look at it through his lens on the potential of what we can have. Remember, Israel, the Israel we know today did not exist before 1942. It was an imagination and an idea of Jewish people on what a sovereign state of their own could look like, and they manifested it. What are we doing? We keep looking back at the old Africa. A lot of us who ain't even been to Africa yet, still looking through it with an old skewed lens. And Sister Keisha, I know you ain't too fond of my man Stevie Wonder, but I love Stevie Wonder. And he got a song called Pastime Paradise. Can't live most of your life living in the pastime paradise. Yeah, we did great things in the past, but we can't get back there. We got to look towards the future. Look towards the great things we can do in the future. Martin did his job. Malcolm did his job. Marcus did his job. Harriet did his job. Nat Turner did. Everybody did their job. It's time for us to do our job right now. This is why we come here every week. You know, just to give you information, and not like we know it all, but just to provoke thought, just to agitate your consciousness a little bit. Maybe we spark something in you that give you a great idea that can move our people forward and catapult us over this hump that we see that we're constantly having. Because what Kyrie and Kanye is going through, what's the brother name? I think it's William Bolden, wrote the book called $40 Million Slave. I don't even remember how old that book is. I know I read that book like close to 10 years ago, but it talks about what we go through as black people, how entertainment and sports are just like what we had to deal with on the plantation. And again, most of our folks are not qualified to deal with slavery because we don't read enough about slavery. And granted, it's horrible, it's horrific, but shoot, we Sister Keisha, we took people on trips to see these places, right? We took all kinds of museums, the Great Blacks and Wax. I always encourage people, if you're in the Baltimore area, even if you're not, go see the Great Blacks and Wax Museum. In fact, any museum that has Black history, go visit it. You'll be surprised what you know. None of us know everything, but we have to arm ourselves with information and also develop our imagination. So when we on an intellectual battlefield, because that's what this is, we have enough ammunition to articulate our position and talk about why we're right. Why we're right. But let's not just be right about what happened to us and who did what. Let's be proactive in our future and use our imagination to create this vision where we are prosperous and our grandchildren don't have to fight the fight that we've been fighting for so long. These Jewish kids ain't fighting these fights. They just wait until they 16th or 13th birthday and inherit a new business, get all this money so they can live a life of comfort how they want to live. But we still hand them out. We still something you said earlier, Sister Keisha, about our children now not respecting the elders. That's because we're sparing the rod. We done listen to European psychologists. Oh, you shouldn't beat the child. I'm not saying beat your child up, but there has to be a level of discipline to where it goes back to how our mothers and grandmothers raised us, where one look shut everything down, where they didn't have to raise their hand, where if you breathed too hard, you knew you was in trouble. These kids now are cursing and daring you to hit them. I've seen a video, and I'm gonna step off my soapbox. This is with the Asian community, and I think you saw it too, Sister Keisha. Did we show it here? Where the little Asian boy choked his grandmother to death.
Yeah, we showed that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the direction we want our children to go in? To where they're not respecting the elders to the point that they're murdering the elders while the other children are just sitting around video recording it, laughing, thinking it's funny. That is not who we are. We have to stop accepting other people's idea of what's appropriate behavior or what's okay. And it definitely starts with the music. It starts with the movies. It starts with the way we talk with each other, the way we deal with each other, particularly in our family. Let's start there. We know we got some old wounds of mommy dying and somebody done swindled you out your inheritance because the older sister, the older brother, somebody done got swift with the insurance money. We all heard that. We all heard that story before. So I ain't speak to my sister since she took my money from my mother dying 20 years ago. Or they sold grandma's house and ain't give me a piece and it was for all of the grandchildren. We heard that story. But sometimes those of us who know better got to show better. And I know forgiveness is a hard thing to do. But at some point, we got to start forgiving each other. If we want to be forgiven for our transgressions, because ain't none of us perfect, we got to start forgiving other people. And it ain't going to happen overnight. It ain't going to happen overnight. It's an ongoing battle till the day they drop us in the casket. But we definitely have to start treating each other better. We have to work on our own character and start making atonements and amends for damaged relationships. Because if we don't, it's just gonna fester in us. This is why we get these cancers, these all kind of illnesses we have, the mental health issues, the heart disease, the all of this starts in here, whether we believe it or not. Starts in here and then in the gut. The way we think and the way we eat. We have to change that, and the way we relate to one another. We don't always have to agree. That's just a fact. But guess what? Let's build on the things we do agree on. Like Sister Keisha do not like Stevie Wonder. I can't play Stevie around Sister Keisha. I know this. And she know I love Stevie. But that ain't gonna stop us from being my sister and stop us from working together. If we working, I just gotta put my headphones on to listen to my Stevie. But the point I'm trying to make, y'all, is that we really gotta do better, because though we talk about it on a broad scale about society managing the images and the behavior of who we're supposed to be in this society, we also got to look at what cost with our little sisters like Shanquella, who's not the first, and I'm certain won't be the last. We really have to look at how we deal with each other and start bringing people to the carpet who exhibit all of these effeminate behaviors, because the brothers were supposed to protect her. If you out the country with the sisters, you supposed to protect them. And I'm not talking about out there romantic, because I got tons of sisters I'm not romantic with. But if we together, I'm in charge of their safety. I don't care how many brothers they got. I don't care how big and bad their husband is. If they not there, I take up that role.
Even Saturday when we went to the movies, we taking pictures. Brother Taz, Sister Keisha and Marcia, get in the middle because we got to protect y'all.
That's right. Me and Ashe on the outside, sisters in the middle. That's it. That's it. I was raised that way as a child. And as I got older, Baba Baruti put context to it. Our women and children are the gardens, and us men, we're the fences around that garden. So we're keeping that garden safe. We're keeping our precious, delicate flowers safe. And that's what's up. But, I'm going to step off my soapbox right now. Just a little something for the folks to think about real quick.
Definitely. Brother Tad is serious about it,
Definitely.
And what bothers me too, first of all, it's not that I don't like Stevie Wonder. I can only take him in doses. That's it. Sade, I can't take her at all. So
you killing me. I love Sade.
I just want to slip my wrist and commit suicide. I'm just saying. That's just the way the music takes me. So I don't hate all of Stevie Wonder songs. In fact, one of his songs my husband proposed to me on. So I can't say that I hate all Stevie Wonder songs. He just annoys me sometimes. But anyway.
Sade, two of my favorite singers. Wow.
I still love you.
I love you too, sis.
And my sisters and I, we were talking about that, my biological sisters. We were talking about that earlier, how people get in their feelings. It's okay to disagree. You don't have to hate each other because you disagree. It's bananas. It's bananas. And this whole thing, as you said, we even how we fight. We so behind the 8 ball. You still trying to do stuff from the 50s. And you wonder why we still ain't winning. I can't rock with y'all. I'm sorry. I'm done. I am done. That whole I'm done. I'm done. That's not how you fight in a futuristic war. That's why you losing. And another thing you said too, brother Tad, I hear this commentary all the time from a lot of black folks who talk about, well, maybe we won't get it in our lifetime, but our children's children. That's some sucker stuff. Or you just kicking the can down the road. Because no other ethnic group talk like that.
Right.
You're a coward. You're kicking the can down the road, reveals the cowardice in you. But I'm gonna step off my soapbox. We're gonna talk about this real quick. Wakanda forever. I see Sister Marcia on the check-in and Brother Black trying to get it together. So once he's done, we'll bring him in. But Sister Marcia, okay, Brother Black, I think
Hey
you got it.
family, how's everybody doing today?
Great. Wakanda forever, sis. So, Brother Black, how you doing? Black?
What's up, y'all? I gotta let Sister Marcia speak because she just said hey, and then y'all went to me. Sis, you go first.
So first of all, your thoughts, Sister Marcia, on us seeing Wakanda Forever. We were together on Saturday, all of us except Brother Black. Of course, he's not here in the city, but We saw the film together. First of all, the atmosphere in the theater. Give us your perspective.
Say that again, sis. You're
Oh,
muted.
sister.
The atmosphere in the theater with people coming in to see the film. First of all, let's start there. What was your feeling as people came into the theater coming to see the film?
Everyone was excited. They were really ready to see Wakanda forever. Where is our foreverness? And that was the beginning, you know. But as the film progressed, I don't think they saw forever anymore. At least I didn't. Um, I there were the greatest moments in this film. When it comes down to the metaphysics and the spirituality in this film, on point and exact. When it comes down to the science in this film, on point and exact. When it comes down to the story, I was very disappointed.
Well,
I was
first of all,
extremely
let's
disappointed.
put this disclaimer out. It isn't a documentary film.
Exactly. It's not.
We shouldn't
It,
expect
it, it is a comic.
right.
That's right. It is a comic. I understand
Right.
that. And it's going by the tone of the comic book and everything like that. And I am not a comic book reader, so I don't know the story. So my interpretation of what I saw was based on my revolutionary Black spirit. And my revolutionary Black spirit was very disappointed in what I saw in terms of the story. But in terms of the spectacular and the regalia all around it, on point and exact, I couldn't watch that without any words and really block the characters because I don't want to see anybody. But, as I bet 1,000 people have said, remember the fact that it's a fiction, it's a comic book, and there's nothing there for us to really uphold to. But there are pieces when you look at the larger society, and especially with the conversation of the Latinx, Latino, Latina, and the Christian environment or the Christian cross, because this is what the Latin people are going to now start adopting this cross, and it's always being called the Latin cross. I recently went to the African burial ground, right? And I'm just there really by myself, taking my time and absorbing the knowledge. And I see the cross there, and I'm like, but why is this there? Why is this an emphasis? And then looking at the film, my conspiracy mind just kept reeling and just was like, no, this is really not good for us. There's too much friction amongst the Latin community and the African community right now. LA, they tell you all of these things that's going on. There are politicians talking about Africans as if they're subservient to them. So this is very detrimental if you're looking at it through a political lens, a political African lens, where you can understand what next moves are going to happen against us, and at the end, sorry for anybody who hasn't seen it, but Wakanda had 5 people left, and the had 1 million people around Wakanda. So I don't know where forever is for Wakanda with that. But that's my thoughts.
Brother Ty, your thoughts on and your perspective on the atmosphere first, and your view of the film.
Well, the atmosphere was dope. I was glad so many people brought out their young people. Like I said, this was real important for the young people to visualize a positive position of Africa. And the story could have been better, though I did get what they were trying to do, in terms of not looking at the African Latino relationship, but just again, like in our own community relationships, how we deal with one another, how things happen, and how misunderstandings take place. I think with that conflict between Wakanda and what was that other city in the fish folk? Yeah, the fish folk. That was all
I don't know.
predicated on
The
understanding.
Mayan. It was the Mayan. Go ahead.
Right,
Kukulkan.
right, the Kuku Khan, right? Them
Kukulkan.
folks,
Yeah.
right? But check it out. That's just dealing with the story. That's what I felt when I saw the movie. Like, you know, the atmosphere was good. It's always good to see all our folks. Shout out to Sister D and Minister Vern and all our folks from African Village. You know, it's always good to fellowship with our like-minded folks from other organizations because we all work together on a consistent basis for years. The same thing we encourage our audience to do, we're doing ourselves. Now, in terms of the ramifications in the real world, and this is why we definitely have to control our images. Something Dr. Claude Anderson said, and I mentioned this on the show before, they're trying to replace us. This is why our story is seldom told. And this is why, though we're awakening in our Black consciousness, they're bringing in all of these illegal Latinos into the country right now. Dr. Claude said that would happen. But I want to remind people that this is the same trick that happened 100 years ago after the Reconstruction era. Remember, 100 years ago was 1920s, and Black folks were still subjected to the Jim Crow laws. The civil rights laws wasn't even on the table, though they were on the books. Dr. King, when he brought it in the 1960s, that was based on what was written in the 1860s. Don't want folks to get that confused in terms of the civil rights movement. But back in the 1920s, the United States saw that left to our own vices, we were outpacing our European counterparts, if you want to call them that. So they wrote to Europe and said, send us your sick and huddled masses. So they sent for all the Southern Europeans. That's when you get the Irish, the Italians, and the Jews coming over here en masse. And this is when they were getting all type of land grants and welfare. They call us the welfare queens and kings, but it was put in place for white folks. Let's be clear. Black folks couldn't benefit from welfare until the 1960s. So this is very important. Why did they bring all these Southern Europeans? Because they start identifying them as white. Because white folks was initially just people of Anglo-Saxon stock, which we call WASP, you know, white Anglo-Saxon people. Yeah, WASP, WASP, white Anglo-Saxon people. So if you ever hear a white person say I'm a WASP, that's what they mean. So Irish, Italian, Jewish were not. But every time they tell the story, they talk about how their grandfather came over here and knew he was free once he saw the Statue of Liberty, then come over here with a dime in his pocket and made something out of himself and pulled himself up by the bootstrap. But never do they talk that you came here without a dime in your pocket, but once you got off the boat, they gave you a couple of $100 to get right, to get on your feet. Still didn't give us that. Because once they let us off the plantation, they compensated the plantation owners, still gave us nothing. Everything we had, we literally worked for. Government didn't give us nothing. So let's not even get that twisted. I say that because we see that right now in the year 2022, where you see all of these immigrants coming from South America, making their way to Texas, where they got buses waiting on them to bring them to New York. Shout out to Eric Adams for nothing. Giving our money and resources away, you know, to these quote unquote illegal immigrants. Now, this ain't a bash on nobody. This is just stating the facts. None of these people are here, quote unquote, legally. They're not documented yet. Only documents they get is what we give them. And this is very problematic because these people are coming, getting set aside that should have been allocated for us, but instead it's for people for impoverished countries where $15 an hour, it seemed like they hit the number. But for us, we know we still haven't received proper compensation for all that we've been through, not just our labor for building this country, but for all the institutions and the industries that kept us out of stuff. So that's why last week I said, last time we was on, I said it's kind of crazy that Chase Bank got the audacity to tell Kanye they don't want business with him for being anti-Semitic, but Chase will never talk about them literally owning people, holding our folks as stocks and commodities to finance the slave trade. They won't talk about how AIG was one of the first insurance companies insuring our enslavement. They won't talk about these things. Bank of America was in on it. All of these institutions. And I always say, in this day and age, when you still got the first black anything, that should tell you there's a problem. As long as we've been here, slavery is literally older than this country. And we still having the first black senator, the first black person to do this, first black person to do that. And we're not the first black people to do it. Y'all just starting to recognize it, starting to acknowledge it, because you can't turn the blind eye to us no more, because the world is so much smaller. But at the same token, you bringing in other people to take our place while you're selling and promoting genocide to us. And I don't know how I got here off of Wakanda Forever, but my spirit just told me I have to touch on that. Oh, right. That's how we got here, because this is Wakanda Forever trying to make pseudo kumbaya moments in the movie. But even at the end of the movie, you seen the king of the water folks was saying, I'm only standing down temporarily. He's playing the mind game with our folks. And this is something we always do. We always fall for the same trick. Time and time again, we befriend everybody at the detriment of our well-being. Like Shanquella Robinson. Shout out to her, bless her soul. You know what I'm saying? We are too trusting, and we got to adopt some of the philosophies and the rules of the street. You got to be vetted if you want to be down. There got to be some type of initiation. You got to show that you're really down for this if you want to be a part of what we're doing, because what we're doing is for the benefit of our folks. This is long term. This is for the future. This is some lifelong and beyond stuff. This is for eternity, what we're doing. And we don't need no fair weather friends. And that's always been our problem. Hence the NAACP. This is why Ida B. Wells and W.B. Du Bois bounced once they realized what's really going on with this. Margaret Sanger's down in the background trying to promote just kill the babies, just kill the babies. You sell it as healthcare. But then they found out your idea was a little more nefarious. You just want to kill our babies before they're born. Who even thinks like that? But you still got advocates of Planned Parenthood in our community talking about kill the babies. Let me step off my soapbox, and thank you, Idi Amin, for correcting me. It's white,
Right.
Anglo and Protestant. Thank you,
Right.
thank you.
And also the history hitman.
That's right, the history hitman on
I'm
deck.
rich. History hitman. We got to get you on a program in the next couple of weeks. Because we going out in December with a bang. After December, the Thorough Black Talk crew, we will take a break. We will be off for a month, the month of January, and come back for Black History Month, because we got a lot of personal things we got to take care of, and then some upgrades here for the program that will take some time for us to work out, But in the movie, and I'm not going to give nothing away. I see Sister Amanetu says she ain't see it yet. Okay, I'm not going to give it away. But before I do that, everyone who likes the hat, thank you so much. Again, this is from FMP Accessories. In fact, you might be able to get this colorway for like $5 now. I think it's on sale. But here, I'm gonna give you the tea. If you sign up for the VIP text, every Friday there's a major sale. So you might be able to get fedoras that normally cost $25 for $10 on Friday nights if you're a part of the VIP club. So don't say
And
I
where do
didn't
we
give
sign
you
up?
the tea. Say that again.
Where do we sign up?
Just go to their Instagram page and sign up for the VIP text. And every Friday, there is a sale, because not only do they sell fedoras, ladies and gentlemen, but for the ladies, they sell a lot of bags and clothing and things of that nature. I just happened to purchase the fedoras. And then being a part of the crew, the club, you get a lot of discounts that the regular shoppers will not. And on this program, we always put y'all on. Now for Rock Deep Footwear, right now they have the AB2s in black and red and blue and silver for $20 on any sizes that are remaining. So don't say I ain't put you on. Okay, moving right along with this film. What I did like was the unification of Black women, right? You had the U.S. African Americans because the sister was a child prodigy, um, who ended up going to. I don't want to tell you the story. You got to see it. But the continent sisters on the continent and in Haiti. In fact, did y'all see the address of her house? Did you see the address
Yes.
on the sister's house? What was it, brother Tad?
I don't remember, but I said, "Ooh, it."
1804.
That's right. That's right.
1804.
I was like, yo, there was so many nuances in there. But go ahead, Sister Key. That's why I keep telling our folks we got to see it
You got to see it.
if you can.
And they highlighted, because this is going to come down, unfortunately, for those of you who are not equipped enough to understand what is happening politically around the world. Um, it is going to come down to a battle of women. The most brutal and dangerous female is the Caucasian female. Just read they were once her property. If you don't believe me, anybody who comes from corporate America can tell you working with Yoruba women is the worst thing on the planet.
Ever.
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 Those of you who
Ever.
haven't ever been in this arena, I'm telling you, and I don't care what field it is, what field it is,
Ever.
ever. So you better understand how ruthless and dangerous she is. This is why recent elections, though they are currently over, the commentary was the abortion right. They want to kill you off. As Tad said, it was Margaret Sanger who initiated such. She is very, very dangerous. And this is something that I hope you pick up in the film. If you do see it, for those of you who did, oh, he said, yeah, everybody saw the 1804 address. So, as Brother Tad said, the nuances you have to pick up on, but you won't be able to do that if you're not if you don't have a knowledge of Black history and African studies and who we are. I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that. Me personally think it's a great film to see, but it is also a film where you can have in-depth conversations with your family members. Because when we got back home, the hubby and I had hours of conversation about this because there were so many things that stood out to us. And this is where the healing begins. You got to see the wrong to understand what is right and what is correct in order to fix the problems that we have. For example, you got people who talking about still doing marching, but nobody is coming up with an apparatus to protect everything that we're building. As I said many times on this platform and others, you can have all the money you want, i.e., ye. If you don't have a mechanism to protect it, they will take it from you. So when people say economics should be at the forefront, you're an idiot. Even when malls are built, when stores, go to a strip mall and see new development that's taking place or housing complex. You always see a little security booth while the construction is going on. Security is everything. We have to understand that. We have to understand that. So going forward, we have to protect ourselves. There is no commission, no politician, no apparatus that came out in defense of Ye or Kyrie. I'm not talking about their ideologies. I'm talking about a protection racket. They said some things that another group felt undesirable. That other group has a mechanism to protect itself. You see the difference. We just running our lips on social media. It's nothing. It is nothing. Where was One United Bank to speak up for Ye or for Kyrie? Bring your money here. We got you. Bring it here. I didn't see any of that. I could be wrong, but I didn't see any of that. Somebody enlighten me if you have. But I'm going to get off my soapbox because we got so much to discuss, and our guest to be here in a little while. Brother Blacksmith, the last time we were on, you had a question. Ask your question, brother, and we'll take it from there.
Can you hear me?
Clearly.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Peace. What the question that I wanted to ask you, Keisha, that night was, could the fact that maybe days before Kyrie was suspended for posting that movie in Hebrews to Negro, could the Nets have been paying back and Cloud muddying the waters because New York City had issued that if you were penalized, fired, you had to get your job back at the same pay and back pay with interest and fines and penalties and whatever else as a result of that. So to overshadow the fact that they got to pay them all this money that they wasn't paying them before.
It could be. But to that point, again, so many Black people work for government entities, yet your unions fail to protect you. They are liars and they should be held liable. There must be a class action lawsuit against these unions, in particular the delegates, because they sold you a bill of goods that wasn't feasible for you. Again, as you said, now there is a kickback to the court for that decision, and that is the holdup. There wouldn't be a kickback if these unions were doing what they're supposed to do instead of taking pay cuts under the table to sell out their membership. That's exactly what was done. And I'm not speaking on hearsay. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. And if they don't get it together soon, I'm calling out names. I'm calling out names.
Well, Keisha, in my opinion,
go ahead,
in my opinion, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut your wisdom. You finish, please.
Go ahead, brother, quickly, because our guest is in queue and we want to get him on as soon as possible.
Okay, real quick. I got you. I'm just going to say this quick and then I'm done with it. I believe the precedent was saying set, and we talked about this maybe 3-4 months ago when they broke the unions, like how Reagan did in the 80s with the air traffic controllers. The same way New York City broke the unions when they jailed the Guyanese dude that was the head of the transit union when there was a strike about 10, 15 years ago. I don't remember the names and the particulars, but you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I remember. And
again, that was the majority set for now.
Here in New York, the majority.
You went on mute, sis.
Sorry, the majority of employees here in the city under city employment were Black people. Now, again, I said this many times on this platform that a lot of y'all are going to be let go because they have to have these jobs for this new Ukrainian influx, this new Latino influx that is into the city. And by the way, Senator Chuck Schumer had a press conference yesterday and he got haggled for saying such a thing. Saying that, and I blame the voters, you're going to have to eat this bullet because you put this clown in office. You're keeping the apparatus.
You kept this clown in office.
Anti-Black and anti-African in place. And you wonder why we as a people suffer. Listen, there were bills that were on the ballot here in New York in particular. Let me tell you what you voted for, New Yorkers, because I know you didn't read the legislation. One bill to force COVID shots for college students, preschoolers to attend, to eliminate the religious exemption for college and work, to eliminate parents' consent to shots when a child reaches 14 years of age, to eliminate parental right to consent to STD shots of children of any age, allows the governor
Wow.
to imprison. Hold on. This is what you voted for. Bill A 416 allows the governor to imprison anyone without trial she considers to be a threat to public health. So when they start rounding people up and locking
Wow.
people up, don't wonder why you voted for it. You did it. Assembly member Patrick Burt's upcoming bill to eliminate unvaccinated people's access to health insurance, although you have been paying for it for how many years? Bill 809963 authorizes minors to consent to medical and dental and mental or hospital service without parental consent. Now you think they're not gonna use that apparatus to guinea pig our children? You all voted for it. And I'm telling you, you cannot win in this duopoly. Y'all can keep playing that nonsense with yourselves if you want to, but all that tells me is that you're not politically equipped to even be in a polling booth at all. You shouldn't even be there. You should not even be there because even the judges, there were certain judges. Judges don't run elections, they are appointed, right? On each political apparatus. What are their platforms? They had one a few months ago. Now, all of these so called activists and know alls in New York, I was on the live stream. I ain't seen none of y'all there. In fact, I was the only one outside of the judges who looked like me. You have no business in a polling booth. Let the system fall. Why are you trying to uphold something that is anti you? That's insanity. That is insanity. And the Senate has just passed federally LGBTQ or whatever letters they go by marital rights. So, and the Dems did it. As Brother Tad said, everybody is coming in and getting rewarded for things that rightfully belong to us. And we still begging. You're either stupid or just plain dumb. And I'm telling, I have to say it like it is. We have to be re-educated politically because a lot of y'all don't know what the hell is going on. There's a reason why when you go to a candidate's webpage, right? They have a list of things that they are allegedly for. But who gave these points to them, right? You just had the fallout of FTX, crypto, right? Now, Sam Brinkman-Fried, or whatever his name is,
Bankman.
he put billions of dollars, Republican, Democratic parties, that allowed him to do things that were unethical and illegal. That's the personification of white privilege. Don't blame him. I blame y'all who put these people in office. You did it. You did it. So until we re-educate ourselves politically, keep your asses out of voting polls. Booze, you have no business in there. None whatsoever. And I will gladly debate anybody on any platform and destroy your goddamn argument because you're talking to somebody who was actually on the other side of things. And I know things you don't know that they will never tell you. Unless you're on the other side, you won't know. So again, I'm going to get off my soapbox because I'm getting hot up here with people and their foolishness. It really bothers me to no end the stuff that we suffer from and we don't have to. I've never. We are the only people. Do you see what's going? I know, brother Black. No, all the uprising that is going on in Europe and in Asia right now,
Mhm.
and we still trying to figure out if we can get together a damn march. Are you retarded? Either that or you smoke crack, and I
Hey,
don't want no
Keisha,
part. Please, come
hey,
on.
hey, Keisha, let me ask you a
Go ahead,
question.
brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Ain't it crazy how like the dude that got billions back in the day, it's like these guys got names made exactly for them. Bernie made off with billions. And now you got this guy, his last name is Bank Man. Look at these names, and they're both, like Kanye would say, Jewish. So, okay, put it together and do what you want with it.
Right. And I see one of my aunts in the queue. Shout out to Aunt Marie, Uncle Jesse, and Pizzo. But she said these things were in place already. Absolutely. But until the apparatus is broken, it is an unwinnable game for black people. One, because you're still not a citizen. In 6 states, the language of slavery is still on the goddamn books. Still. They talking about abortion rights. Slavery is still on the goddamn books. And the reason why it's on the books is because this country is on the decline. Do not hesitate to think that they will not try to put you back in chains to rebuild itself. That's why the language is still on the damn books. Read the legislation if you don't believe me. Read it. Read the law. And we worried about illegal folks and Ukrainians and white women and everybody else crying blues. But we can still be put in change at any moment.
Mhm.
Any moment. This is the law. I said it when Pastor Gaddy was on. Mississippi just removed it from their books a couple of years ago. This is serious business. So until we understand politically what the hell is going on, stay your behind out of the voting booths. You cannot claim to love yourself and the Lord and play in the devil's cesspool, expect to win. It is impossible. It is unethical. It is anti who we are. Now, I'm not saying I blame all of you because you don't know. But until you know, stay out of the goddamn polls. Our conditions will be, don't listen to me, it's getting worse. And look at the pool of candidates that you have. Who the hell chooses these people? Everybody is a yes person, whether they're on the Democratic side or the Republican side. They will toe the
Okay.
line. Who the hell
Mhm.
came up with Herschel Walker? He can't even put a sentence together. No, I'm serious. But
You're right.
the
You're
Republican
right.
Party understands that he will be a great yes man that
Yep.
will put in place policies that will put your children in jeopardy. In fact,
Yep.
there was an Instagram video that was just released of a school teacher telling black children that he is superior to them. This
Yes.
critical race theory stuff. You
Mhm.
voted to help these bastards remove their criminal history. You wanted statues
Mhm.
removed. You wanted street signs. This is ridiculous. You helping a criminal clean up the crime scene, fool.
Mm.
When you
They don't
see
understand.
when you see those statues, when you see these street signs, these are badges of slavery. That is against the 13th Amendment. But you helping
Mhm.
these bastards clean up the crime scene so that when they
Mhm.
round us all up again, well, most of you, when they round you up again to
Mhm.
re-enslave you, they're going to say, well, you voted for it.
All right.
You agreed to it.
Yep.
Here is the legislation to prove it.
Yep.
Now what?
Yep.
Now what? We got to really go into some closed door meetings. And again, this is one of the reasons why TBT will be off the air in January, because there's some planning sessions that are going to have to take place. And New York is going to have to kick it off, unfortunately. We're going to kick it off because, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, because the history of New York City dictates that we do. Don't believe me? Go back to blacks who were indentured servants under the Dutch. And what
Mhm.
the agreement was, once their indentured servitude was over, read it. I'm not telling you nothing that's not out there, that's not for you to read. Read it. What happened to Land
What's
of
the
the
name of
Black?
it, Keisha?
There isn't a book, brother. I'm telling you to read the law, to read the legislation. There is, listen, Washington
Okay.
Square Park was once called Land of the Blacks. It was an agreement between the blacks who served under the indentured servitude of the Dutch. Once they served that 25 years, the parents will be able to go off and develop their own territory. They kept the children, but they let the parents go off. And after 25 years, allegedly, they let the children go off. Now, the trick that was played on those black people is that the Dutch were actually using them as a protection barrier against other Europeans who were coming across the waters to fight and take what the Dutch already had financially, i.e., the Dutch West India Company. Why the Jewish folks had to cut a deal under them to work with them to undermine everything that was happening land of the blacks before there was a Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is in the 1600s. Black people in New York City had it going on. But this history is erased for the majority of folks, unless you're in certain places. And again, I cannot discuss them here, and I won't. And until we have these closed door meetings, don't ask me. Because when you do, that tells me you're an agent and I can't rock with you. Do not ask me what we have to discuss behind closed doors. Not going to happen. So I see my brother Knowledge Born Allah on the check-in. We had Killer Priest, and I think he's trying to work out some technical difficulties or something in the background. And so salute to you, brother Knowledgeable on Allah. Thank you for being black with us right here on the Brooklyn Bridge. Do the knowledge very own in the building with us, brother. What's going on with you?
Peace, brother. We can't hear you.
You gotta unmute yourself, bro.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Peace.
straight black love, straight black Friday.
Peace, God.
How are y'all feeling? Peace to the God. So it's an honor. You know, I was listening since y'all first started, and I had my hand over my heart the whole time. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's still a place outside of my platform where the truth is being told. You know, it's thorough black talk over here. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't the shucking and jiving. It ain't the degeneracy that's popularized. The buffoons and the coons. You understand what I'm saying? The slaves and the daves out here telling you not to think and making it okay for you not to think. They're making it okay for you to drink, but they ain't making it okay for you to think. You understand what I'm saying? So the assault on the thinking black mind, the thinking black consciousness, and the thinking black culture, not those who divested, those who are invested. There's no celebration and there's no honor of those who are invested transgenerationally, from ancestors to elders to peer group to youth to tomorrow. So I just wanted to give honor and respect due in real time to Thorough Black Talk for being the thoroughest and the blackest, and ain't with too much talk, only on the air. You understand what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give y'all that love and honor. So hopefully our brother Killer Priest gets here in the building. another
Yeah,
Brooklynite. You
he
know what I'm saying?
was, but I saw
I
him
took my
going in
chain
and out
off. You know
trying
what I'm
to fix
saying? It's
some
still
things.
Brooklyn. I took my chain off. You know what I'm saying? I was
All
like,
right.
let me just put my chain to the side. You know what I'm saying? It's still Brooklyn. You understand? So yes. Oh, and I
I'm
definitely
telling you,
wanted to thank
everybody,
y'all too.
everybody want to come for the tea.
I definitely wanted to thank y'all too because y'all put the things together where we missed the boat. We missed the boat. You see what I'm saying? Y'all was just talking about voting, and before that, y'all was talking about Wakanda Forever. If we were able to get our synapses together in the way that y'all did to have critical conversations with young people, growth through exposure, a lot of these maladies that are afflicting us transgenerationally would dissipate. You understand what I'm saying? So I just wanted to salute y'all because y'all have always provided a platform in real life for young people to be able to think critically, to hone their survival skills, to have community outreach sessions, and to meet the people where they are. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said it ain't a whole bunch of talk off of that, off of the the platform. In real life, is real things are really happening. So I just wanted to salute y'all for that because I remember as a young child, black people in our community who taught us martial arts, who took us to museums, who took us on trips that didn't have nothing to do with school or nothing like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you presented yourself in a certain kind of way, they imparted certain knowledge and information on you. And then I was around, older black men who were an example. You see what I'm saying? Who were an example. So they held you accountable for what you did and what you didn't do. So, Thorough Black Talk is keeping traditions alive. And I'm proud, to be in the same company. You see what I'm saying?
No doubt. We appreciate you too, bro. Uncle Tad love the kids. So
Yes,
everything
sir.
you up here is for the babies, and that's what Sister keep talking about, us taking the break because we gotta, reconfigure our movements. We gotta upgrade our strategies, and I think that's very important. And most people don't get it, and that's why we appreciate you, a like-minded brother with another platform where we always connecting and exchanging thoughts and resources. How do we help each other move forward? And that's how we got to move within our community. And this is the example we try to set with our young people. As much we talk to the adults here, but we give them this basic information to take back home to the children because we're raised with traditional values, but we're dealing with modern children. But our children at the core has traditional values. It's just we're competing with society and mass media who got a broader range. And Wilson said, in charge of the reward and consequences. And we see our children are rewarded for foolishness. And there's consequences for trying to be intelligent. Like you said, it's easier to drink than to think. They promote that quicker than the other.
Facts. And just to another point, and then we'll get back to our brother. But even with the film Wakanda Forever, and I love what Professor James Smalls taught us, that it is our humanity that got us in the position that we are in, right?
Mhm.
Like you have the Spanish and you have the French and you have the Americans who are dead set against Haiti, but they forget it was Haiti and Martinique who fed you when you were starving.
Mhm.
You see, and until you understand the dynamic, when someone has to depend on you for their very survival and eating, and they get a foot on you, they ain't gonna let it off. We have to have that understanding that these people have a foot on our neck because they feed us. And I'm talking about all of us. Even if you have your own business, you got it going on, like you saw with Ye. I don't make
Mhm.
this up. You can see it for yourself. We have nothing to protect it. That is the goal. And any politician who comes before you, if they don't come with a mechanism to protect you, I don't give a damn what they stand for. I'm not rocking with you. I don't give a damn about no other folks. In fact, right now in the Supreme Court to overturn affirmative action. And who is at the center of this legal case? The Asian community. The ones who have a hate crime bill that for over 100 years we don't even have. But you voted for it. Good luck. Right now, and we're going to move right along. People were so into tech. Our children got to be into tech. Absolutely. Unless to control it. Right now, all of these people, white folks, uh, East Indian folks, Asian folks, they about to lose their job. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. For real. You got Amazon about to lay off 10,000. You got Twitter laying off, Google laying off, Facebook laying off. Why? Because Web.3, I told y'all, doesn't
They don't
require
need
all
you
of them
anymore.
anymore.
They
You
don't
no
need you
longer
anymore.
need it.
Mhm.
As that great episode, and I'm sure Brother Black
Hey,
remembers
Keisha,
this great episode of the Twilight Zone being obsolete.
Mhm.
And if they do that to themselves, you know what they're going to do with us. Go ahead, Brother Black.
what I was going to say was also Walmart is closing 1,000 stores. Now, you really know it's on and popping when they make those kind of announcements before the Christmas season. So, of course, this is all going to take effect probably early next year, maybe into the springtime. But it's with so much happening and so much uncertainty, there's no way anybody has job security in this day and age. No one.
Right.
Everything has
And
become
it's all because
automated. Like y'all saying, a lot of people become. Go ahead, Marcia. I'm listening.
the sister said
Hello.
facts. Asians are the richest race in America. That's a fact. No, what I was gonna say is that we also have to remember the sign of the time, the diesel effect, right? So they're preparing to cut their losses because they know they're gonna have shipment problems. They know they're gonna have inventory problems. So in order to mitigate all of those problems, like I was in Best Buy today with my son, and you couldn't even walk through Best Buy. That's how much they shoving everything in the stores to make you think that there's a lot of stuff available, right? And the poor guy in his wheelchair trying to navigate around stuff, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna leave now because it's just too cluttered. And all he wanted was, a speaker, but I could have bought it online, but I was just like, take an outing.
Well, what's happening with the supply chains, and we talked about this on this platform before, is that there is major congestion, right? The ports are congested, the vessels coming into the United States are congested, and so retailers are inundated with inventory, right? The problem with that is when goods sit out on the water for a particular amount of time, in particular months, you have people who are waiting for cargo that has literally been sitting on the water since the middle of this year, right? The beginning of this year, in particular, the month of April. When they sit in that atmosphere, mold begins to set in,
Mhm.
right? And so a lot of inventory is no good, right? And distribution houses are so congested they can't even take in the inventory. This came by way of the last year of the Trump administration, where this became a problem. This was a squeeze play that China was playing on the United States because Donald Trump was talking about relinquishing the United States responsibility to NAFTA. That was the squeeze play. Now, as Sister Marcia and Sister Carrie Ann said, the Asians are the richest in America, but in their respective countries, they are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
They they are suffering. The dollar is falling at a rapid rate. You got people on lines waiting outside of banks trying to get a goddamn withdrawal. Now, how does that hurt the United States? Well, people say, my taxes are rising, and it's not that your taxes are rising. In fact, the federal tax has not risen that much. The problem is the United States has an enormous amount of debt. That debt has been purchased by Asian countries. And so, as the United States continue to print money out of thin air,
Fiat.
it squeezes the economic apparatus and inflations begin to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So now we, the people, are being squeezed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prices are going up. Every week, the damn prices keep going up. How long do you think this bubble is going to rise before it bursts? It's just a matter of time. And they know that. And so this is why they're trying to play catch up and, try to get you distracted on various things because they know what
Greed.
is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
As we've said here on this platform, you better prepare. And don't tell me, you know, it's going to be all right. It's not. It's not. It is not. And we
Mm-hmm.
can't give passes to entities, political parties, when we are suffering. Again, here in New York, as Brother Black said, you got city employees who still waiting to be returned back to their employment and receive their back pay. That's not going to happen anytime soon. That's why they kicked the court case back to the higher court and hoping it sits there for a while the influx of illegals continue to come in and sop up the resources. In fact, the mayor had finally realized it's too much. So now he's pushing it to the federal government, or y'all got to help us with some bread here. But you had all the lip service, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Dyslexic. Now I'm elected with the Jesse Jackson rhyme stuff. He's a clown. He's a clown. He's a clown. I'll tell his mama that. You a clown. It is what it is. And I don't care who rock with him. He's a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And now he wants to save face because he see that the coffers are nil, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at the bills that are already in the hopper, where is money coming from? Where is money coming from? How is going to happen? So again, we better prepare. And I told y'all before, please believe me, I'm not helping you with a jack. I'm not. I got to look out for me and mine. I'm telling you, I said that.
That's a fact.
So y'all don't have to believe me. So now when people complaining about the inflation, we told y'all this on this platform a couple of years ago, what was going to happen. You don't listen, you suffer. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And now as supply again, because you don't know what you're getting in off these waters. If it's good, bad, you don't know if it's bad for you or not. So be careful with what you get. My brother Knowledge Born Allah, I know you got a fundraiser coming up for sure that you got going on right now. Tell the people what that's about and what it's for.
Well, we got a couple of things going on, and thanks to Third Black Talk, for supporting and coming through, in spirit and in truth. You understand what I'm saying? Like in spirit and in truth. We got 3K for 3K. We're still working our initiative for what we actually do when we're not on air. So there's a couple of areas of responsibility that we've taken upon ourselves since we started for about 7 years. We've been working with at-risk youth from the ages of 7 to 18, and then within the last couple of years, we have adapted to the ages of 19 to 35. So just because you turn the age, don't mean you know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? So just think about those levels of intervention from 7 to 35. You know, from 7 to 18, we're working with them to see beyond their immediate circumstances. A lot of things have happened, and especially like y'all was saying with the squeeze, with this money, these prices, and things like that. There's been an influx in regards to, you know, subsidiary, like subsistence, you know, food stamps and things like that. So, you know, some of these families in the community are taking in adopted children, and adopted children are coming with, you know, subsidies and things like that. But their regular children are being beat and abused and sold because they aren't bringing in any money. So we're working with these children. You see what I'm saying? Just think of the dichotomy in the family dynamic. Children that you birthed, they wasn't here because they was here because you know what I'm saying, you did what you was supposed to do, and now you're abusing them because they don't bring in any money, and they're at odds with children whose families had turned them out. However that situation goes, whatever the circumstance, it's not monolithic. Are now their breadwinners in the house, so they're given priority, and the birth children are being abused. So we're working, you know, in a lot of those homes and with a lot of those youth that are displaced. So that's one facet between the ages of 7 and 18. So we see the temperatures, the hawk out, how we say. You understand what I'm saying? The hawk is out. We've been dealing with the displaced in the community in regards to the homeless, you know, for the past couple of years, like y'all know. You understand what I'm saying? So working with motels and things like that on a regular basis to get them out of the freezing temperatures. I know last year, personally, I dealt with, you know, 40 to 50 cases of homeless folk freezing to death, literally. You see what I'm saying? And then you add in the other factors. If we was
Big
talking about the
difference.
lockdown situation where the other homeless people were being targeted because we had curfews in place and things like that. They were telling us that the police were targeting them and things like that, you know, to make arrests and other stuff that's going on. We know what's really going on out here. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, being in the gap in defense of those things as well. And then also another aspect was the domestic violence situations that we don't discuss. So getting, you know, brothers and sisters out of homes that are hostile, that are volatile because of, you know, these other aspects that are financial and psychological too. So working with shelters all the way around. So these are some of the things that Do the Knowledge Radio has been doing over the years and continues to do. But we're looking to put contingencies in place to be able to do what we do without asking anybody for any money, one, or charging any of the people that we're working with. You see what I'm saying? So this is what the 3K for 3K initiative is for. We've, you know, been at it since before August, before our 7 year, you know, anniversary. So we're still working to raise the funds. We raised about $1,400. We need about $1,600 more to reach our goal. So this is what the funds are utilized for, and this is what, you know, our initiatives and programs in regards to what we do off of air and whom it affects. You see what I'm saying? So from the ages of 7 to 35, and then we have the other categories. So that's something that, you know, we're pushing. We have another health and hip hop initiative. This is why I brought Killah Priest on. So hopefully he gets a chance to get in. If not, I'll just speak to it. I'm Killah Priest's uh, public relations person. So we will get him on. We'll have a chance to speak with him, dialogue. If it's not today, I know his family's in town and, you know, things like that. So hopefully we can work this out. But with hip hop and with health, we know with the hip hop industry, y'all know my research question: does the hip hop industry owe Black people reparations? You see what I'm saying? And when we start peeling back the layers and we get away from sensationalism and emotionalism, we get down to brass tacks, because you can only, be upset for something for so long. What are you going to do about it? And my feelings don't matter in the court of law. You understand what I'm saying? My feelings don't matter. I can shout, I can sing, I can dance, I can catch the Holy Spirit and all of that. All they want is evidence, facts beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand what I'm saying? And my opponent's job is to raise reasonable doubt in my arguments and my testimony. So, that's their job. So looking at that and say, okay, ask myself the own question, like, what are you going to do about it? So I got together with our brother, Dr. Inky, and with Killah Priest, and we got a health and hip hop tour, to go around to teach about health and to infuse proper hip hop music that, can combat some of this negative energy and negative association in regards to the rappers. Because when we start talking about accountability and responsibility, what were you pushing? You see what I'm saying? What were you pushing? What were you promoting? So, shout out to our brother Lord Jamar for bringing that perspective. When I had him on and dealt with that research question, he was like, what were the rappers promoting? What was being promoted in your songs? What was the message that you were giving to people? Are you culpable? Are you complicit? You understand what I'm saying? So these are all things that he brought in. You see what I'm saying? He was like, what about the corner boys? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so these were all aspects that he brought to the table. And this is why the research question is important, because you can begin to peel back the layers. How is the music affecting your health? How is the music affecting your well-being? Our brother Tad, Better Days Ahead. You see what I'm saying? In regards to our fitness, in regards to our well-being, is your being well when it's inundated with all of these things? We know from a militaristic standpoint how you take over people through an improper propaganda campaign. So we're witnessing improper propaganda campaigns and all of these things from a militaristic fashion. The concern with next year, everything works on a 20-year loop cycle with America. So March of next year is 20 years since the Iraq invasion. Look at where the country was 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So in order for us to have this Sankofa moment that we're speaking about, we have to look back to look forward. So if we want to know what's happening, we have to look at what's been happening. You see what I'm saying? So if we look at the Bush administration at that particular time, leading into the Obama administration, we got the same players. You see what I'm saying? We got the same players. So if we're looking at that, what does that mean from a health perspective? What did the current sitting president say about diabetes and type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes and all of these things in that State of the Union address? You see what I'm saying? These are all things that are out there that we got goldfish memory about. And then we're perplexed when things are happening. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that are out there and looking. And Sister Keisha, when you talked about slavery on the ballot within 5 states, 6 states, they're encompassed by 25 other states that still have slavery in their state constitution language. So you're looking at 5 or 6, but we're not looking at the 24, 25 other states that have that in their state constitution. You see what I'm saying? So being mindful of those things, what were you subjected to? What were our ancestors subjected to on plantation life? Poor health, poor diet, things like that. You see what I'm saying? So where do we find ourselves in that position in regards to our health? We didn't think about mental health in the times of our grandmothers and great grandmothers. You see what I'm saying? So we're looking to correct the generational curse. That's one of the biggest generational curses next to cowardness, because we don't come from no cowards, but somehow we affected with some coward 19. You understand what I'm saying? And we walking around acting like cowards. You see what I'm saying? So, we got that, scamdemic going on in regards to the hearts and the minds of who was real, because only we're going to be able to change our circumstances and position. So in every aspect of this war effort that's being waged against us, we need to counter the terrorism that's happening to the Black mind, to the Black household, to the Black spirit, to that fighting spirit that's there. You see what I'm saying? So I just say this and I'll be quiet. When I watched what was going on and what was happening, I was like, yo, this industry has usurped every other area of people activity. Every other area of people activity. So the other 8 areas of people activity that our ancestor, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, that our elder, Dr. Newly Fuller Jr. taught us about how we are engaged, entertainment usurped all of those areas of contention. So entertainment is used for every other area, from economics to education to labor law and politics to religion, sex, and war. They're using the entertainment industry as the biggest vehicle to push all of these agendas in this war, because it's silent weapons for quiet wars. You don't know what war is happening. You understand what I'm saying? And if you add a 10th and you add in technology, you see this war being waged in technology. You understand what I'm saying? So going from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, there are other ramifications that are there, where this open source thing that we're working with, where all of your information is made public. Everybody knows everything. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no more, anything that you got online, the world can see. So, what are you doing with that information? You see what I'm saying? So these are all things that are there that is a concerted effort to have you drinking, not thinking, smoking and joking. Everything's for sale and everything is a joke. In the end, all you're looking to do is be compensated. And while we're being, with that auspices of compensation, we're being annihilated. So we're facing annihilation in line with compensation. So, these are some of the things that we're combating, and, we're looking to push on a global scale to eradicate some of these ills and these maladies that have been affecting us. That the time for talking is over. I think Jonathan Jackson said it best. You understand what I'm saying? Out of all of the lines he could quote from Frantz Fanon, he said, the time for talking is over and the time to do is due. You understand? So,
Facts. My brother, how can people find you on social media so that they can get involved or contribute to what it is that you're doing? Let the people know.
okay, we got the. Can I share the GoFundMe real quick? Because I don't want y'all to think I'm
Nah, go
shucking,
ahead.
I'm snaking and faking out
Go
here. You know, how folks is doing. They got people they talking about when they building spaceships to go build to preach the gospel on Pluto and shit. You understand? I don't want to be caught up in the fraudulent. Okay, because the fraudulent is out here. They happening. So I don't want to be caught up in that. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm allowed to share, y'all can see this on the screen. All right. So this is the GoFundMe link here, and y'all see exactly what it says. It's right here. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm not blowing smoke. So this is what the funds is being used for. Everything that I explained, and this is what's happening. So either you can contribute to the GoFundMe or via Cash App, $ knowledge born allow, or paypal.me/do the knowledge radio. And the Health and Hip Hop Tour is starting in Georgia. We'll be in Georgia from the 25th of November, the 28th of November, excuse me, to the 5th of December. So about a week long. So we got, health days, hip hop days, we got performances, we got all kind of stuff that's going on. We got sponsorship packages, we got vendor packages. We got an awesome opportunity, and we'll also be live streaming that event. So you don't have to be in the place, to see what's going on. So we got performances, we got collaborations, and all kinds of things. So health and hip hop being reunified. So, yes,
That's what's up. I'm
they're trying to
excited.
get us to go
I'm
to Pluto. You understand? They're like, yo, I'm about to go preach the gospel on Pluto, and I need a spaceship. And folks will get together and get a spaceship. They'll get together and get murderers of our people off. So they don't have to spend a night in jail. They get money together for for court cases, for lawyer fees, and all these other things. So if we talking about the battle of reparations, we got to go to court. How long can you fight in court?
Mm-hmm.
That's your agenda.
Facts.
That was just their whole
Mhm.
situation about this, legislation being passed. How long can you fight that in court?
Mhm.
How long can and then how long
Mhm.
can you wait on the outside? So
Mhm.
if you've been out of
Right.
work for almost 2 years, this economic
You're
stimulus
hungry.
been levied against you. How long can you wait?
Mhm.
Can you wait another year? Can you wait another 2 years? Can you wait till somebody else get elected? Who some other bastard who's supposed to be your saving grace? And then what if they renege?
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like how long you gonna
Right.
go for the song and the dance? How
Right.
long you gonna fall for the
Right.
banana in the tailpipe? You understand? So
Right. Right.
definitely.
Well, I think
Yes,
your
indeed.
program sounds. I think your program sounds amazing. I totally want to share with people, so I will share with people that I know can maybe lend a coin or two. You know how our people are most of the times. But one of the things that you had point on was the history, right? The history and the shared knowledge that people are missing. And that's one thing from the Wakanda Forever that I thought was really interesting. Like Kublai Khan was there for since 1500. So he's really inept in teaching his people what everyone is about for all those years. Like for 700 years, he's constantly reminding his people who their enemy is. And he tells the queen this too. He says to her, and I'm sorry for folks that haven't watched the movie, it's not my fault, but he tells the queen that while the Europeans were terrorizing everyone, Wakanda closes doors. And now I'm not going to allow that same thing to happen to my people. That was very poignant to me. And that's what your work is about, Brother Born, Knowledge Born Allah. So I congratulate you on that one.
Yeah, agreed. And a fatal flaw that we need to take away from the movies, all of the movies that we saw, because this is one link in the chain. When you allow your enemies into your
Sanction, sanctum,
sanction, they're
sanctum.
coming to take it. They're coming
Yeah.
to destroy it. You understand? So if I go on a trip, Uncle Tag, because I love Uncle Tag. Uncle Tag remind me that I've been black all my life. You understand? If I go on a trip, y'all Brooklynites, if I go on a trip, right, with all this gold, and I'm saying I'm from Africa and I'm the richest man in the world, and I'm on this tour giving out gold and tributary, they're gonna be like, who got that gold?
Mm-hmm.
We about to go to
Got to go
Africa.
back and get that from him,
We about to
from all
go.
his people.
We about to go get him and that gold. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm out here flossing, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm in Crown Heights or I'm in Red Hook. You understand what I'm saying? I'm out here flossing, I'm shining. Something gonna happen to me. I don't care nothing about my safety. You understand? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting people that I love in jeopardy by
Mm-hmm.
conducting myself in a way that's unlike. You see what I'm saying? So that's really the truth right there. So we be heralding folks. We sometimes we be rooting for the wrong team. You understand what I'm saying? Like so, when it comes to it, they say, hey, if they wasn't Jewish, you could enslave them. If they wasn't Christian, you can enslave them. If they wasn't Muslim, you can enslave them. You understand? So sometimes we be trying to be the wrong character in the story. You understand? So we gotta be kind of mindful of what that is and what that costs for you to be that, for you to call yourself that, and what that means for your
Mm-hmm.
people. So just like
Mm-hmm.
they ain't playing about theirs, you know what I'm saying? They came out the water and all that for theirs. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? We need to come out of the woodworks, the concrete jungle for ours.
Mm-hmm.
Like we ain't playing about ours. You understand? You
Mm-hmm.
harm one head on one of ours, oh, it's gonna be water pay. You understand? So
Yeah.
that's supposed to be the answer. That's supposed to be the answer in every instance. So if
But we
you
need to
if
get the mindset right. We need to get the mindset right. It's just our tiny minds, like we're tiny in mass, and maybe that tiny mass is going to be the best outcome. But for right now, it looks dim. But I have faith. Time is going to flourish on
your
our
people,
side.
since your people met where the alligators met, okay? So if you came down there where the alligators was at, They ain't need no Bitcoin. They ain't need no mass text message, no email to go. They ain't need nothing to go out there. They ain't need a bunch of money. They ain't need nothing. They needed the will and heart of the people to win. And the first thing they did was eliminate those who was going to be alligator food. You understand? So
Yes.
once you got rid of that alligator food, you could get to liberation. You see what I'm saying? And it didn't take 100 years, and they wasn't talking about, I don't know if it's gonna happen in my lifetime, and what you gonna do this and all that other stuff. They got busy. Children crawled into cannons so they wouldn't fire. You understand what I'm saying? So look at the resolve of the people that we come from versus these suckers who running around out here. You understand? So we truly got to look at conventional warfare. If you look at Vietnam, you look at Somalia, two places where the United States coalition forces is not. They didn't have a whole bunch of nothing. You understand? But you stepped in that jungle, or you stepped in that concrete jungle, you had hell. You understand? It was like, yep, we out of Somalia. Yep, we out of Vietnam. You see what I'm saying? So these are all, and there are other places on the map. These are just the two popular for you to look at. Normally, when U.S. go someplace, they don't never leave. Why they not in Somalia? Why they not in Vietnam? See what I'm saying? So when we think about our capabilities and our strengths, I don't want nobody signing up, putting on no jersey, sitting next to me that don't want to win, that can't even fathom winning in their mind. You know what I'm saying? Don't even suit up, my man. Like, you on the other team. I see you admiring their outfits. Take your ass over there. Excuse my language. Take yourself over there. Don't even try to suit up over here, because we're not with that. We here to win. It don't matter how long it take. It don't matter what we got to do. We here to win. But don't suit up over here. Don't even look over here. You know they be having the camera phones and all that stuff, brother Taz. Yeah. They be having. They want to get the footage. Oh, let me take y'all picture now. Get up out of here, fam. I see you over there. What you doing talking to the ref, yo? What you doing talking to the ref when we walked in? You understand? What I'm
That
saying?
open source, like you said, that open source of sharing that knowledge. But that open source also helped find out what happened to that sister in North Carolina, right? So, it's to the good and the bad. So the good part was that her family definitely knows what happened to her and how they could act on retribution, because I would have taken those people to the streets myself if I'm the mama.
Those are closed sources, Sister Basia. We got open sources, okay, to report, and closed sources for nothing
to take care of business. Take care of business. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna close source now. But I'm taking care of business.
Yeah, we got closed sources for that. You understand what I'm saying? Only the president come out. Only the president who can come out and say either you with us or against us, because he ain't about to fight no war. You understand what I'm saying?
That's what's up. That's what's up. And again, you definitely have an ally in Thorough Black Talk, and we know we have an ally in you. And this is what we're talking about. And as I talk to Brother Knowledge Born privately about a Black Media Coalition, or commission rather, that too will be in the plans for January. And one of the things that I'm glad that you brought up is us getting our health in check. People who know me, and I got quite a few family members in Q, but people who know me know that I am not a talker, I am a doer, right? So there are some things that you are going to see when we return in February that you're going to be like, what the hell happened? But trust me, I am not one to jump into things and I don't know all the components of what is the outcome will be. And I want to thank, while we're on here tonight, people like Brother Tad, Brother Devon, Brother Sean Bay, Sister Malika, and many others who have been encouraging us to get our health in check. Believe it or not, once you get to the physical, the mental will follow suit, right? That is how the brain works, right? If your finger is hurting, the brain is telling you something is wrong with that finger, right? That's how it works. the mechanics of biology. And a lot of us are going to have to do some serious things. I am so sick of seeing these dialysis centers and various clinics that pop up in our neighborhoods, and it is
Mhm.
our people who are going in droves. So many of us are entering these emergency rooms and not returning home. Believe it or not, how you treat your body, the things that you put in, can fix you. It can heal you. Others have done it. And so, what I have done personally, studying, right? This is what I do. I've studied everything Brother Tad said, Sister Malika said, Brother Devon said, and worked out various plans for myself and my family, right? So now it's about me putting things in place. So I have to put my foot down with my family. It starts at home. Um, Brother Tad knows my husband. You know, he hard headed, but he doesn't have a choice when I mean what I say and I say what I mean. He complies, right? Because he understands that it is for the betterment of himself. And so, and my family in Q, they will tell you I am a doer, not a talker. I do what the hell I say. So we're going to show you some things so that you can become a believer. It's only going to take me a short amount of time. And while I'm doing that, plan with those in our community to put ourselves in a position of power politically as we go forward. So I saw some people in the chat said, count me in. Great. I'm glad you're on board because when I put the edict out and you don't show up, if there is not a medical emergency or a family emergency, then I'm going to call you out on your BS because it's come to the point where we must embarrass those
Mhm.
who work against us. I don't
Mhm.
care what they're doing. I don't care. If you're working against us, I'm going to embarrass you.
Shit.
And I know the history hitman is watching and Brother Ray Ray is watching. We all have some information that those in power would rather can't wait till we die because of the information that we hold. Brother Tad is on this platform. He can attest the loudest talking politician in the city of New York was quiet as a church mouse in my presence. Was he not, Brother Tad?
Yes, ma'am.
Because he knows I know things. And if he speaks out of turn, I will embarrass him and his family. So I'm saying certain things are going to take place as we enter 2023. It's a new day. I'm not playing anymore. I've gave people the chance to figure this thing out. We don't need everybody. We just need real ones.
Right.
That's what we go by here on Thorough Black Talk. We are the
Right.
real ones.
Real ones.
That's it. I don't got time for foolishness. I don't. I'm watching all of these platforms, you know, these manosphere, womansphere, everybody's against each other, and everybody got so much information, especially about relationship when your ass ain't in one and never and can't even maintain it. But you listening to people. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. These ideals that we have are so ridiculous. You know, my husband don't want a woman who just going to submit to everything he say. Oh, you crazy? We wouldn't have lasted this long. You know, my aunts and uncles have been married 40, 50, 60 years. They wouldn't have lasted that long if they had yes women. It don't work that way. And this, I hope everybody took away from Wakanda Forever and the Woman King. Black women, I always say this. When we get it together, the jig is up for every goddamn body. It's over. It's over. Ask anybody who ever got in trouble with their mother. Ask anybody. And one of the things that is tried and true. And my mother said this to me the day before she transitioned. She said, I never had to worry about you. And I thank you. I know you're going to be all right. Number one. Number two, when I leave here, I don't want you to do what you want to do, but do what must be done for yourself and for the family. Period. Period. We all have great gifts and talents. It's time to use them to our benefit, no one else's. We cannot continue to compromise on things that are anti us. You don't have to hate anybody. You just have to love yourself enough to say that I am done. I am done. This is why I moved in small circles because I'm done with people in their BS. Now it's time to get back to your gut. Your gut is your sixth sense. It tells you things when the brain and the heart refuse to let you see. Stick with your, every time I've gone against my gut, it has hindered me badly at that. So I'm saying this to say that whatever knowledge born Allah has going on, whatever African on the rise has going on, and we got to do another hike. I saw one of the parents, and she said, "Yeah, we're gonna do another hike, but we're gonna go on the right trail this time." You did
No,
go.
we're gonna go on an adventure.
You went on the right trail because you are so conditioned to everything being easy. If I
Easy.
had told you how difficult it would be, how dangerous it would be, you wouldn't have shown up. I'm
Ashe.
telling you, intelligence is everything. I know how our people think.
Ashe.
You did something that you would never thought you could do in your life.
Ashe.
Fear keeps us from doing what must be done. After we finished the hike, I explained to people what the Africans who settled that land did. You were protected because your ancestors have you. When you don't believe and you want to take the easy way out, you fail every time.
Mhm. That's right.
Every our DNA makeup
Yeah.
is not easy.
Yeah.
This is
It's
why
full
they've
of
been studying.
courage.
Right. This is why they've been studying us for thousands of years.
That's
Our
right.
DNA is the most studied discipline on the planet. Ask Howard University if you think I'm lying. Our DNA. We have to get back to that. And so we will. Before we close, there was a video that Brother Ray, shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club, sent to me with a comedian, Ari Schaefer. So in your spare time, I want you to look up Ari Schaefer on YouTube and see the disrespectful comments that he makes to his own group and to others. And there is no backlash, especially from black politicians and black business owners, because your ass is on a hot seat too.
Mhm.
Because you see what happened with Yee and with Kyrie? European Jewish business protect their ideal. Black business. It's not just to support you. That is dead. That's dead. It doesn't work. Your responsibility is to protect your consumer base so that you have this consumer base forever. And that's what makes you prosperous. And if you don't understand that business 101, you wonder why you still selling t-shirts on the corner and you ain't progressing. That's why.
That,
Why you
that.
still selling shea butter and incense and still can't progress. While we living in a technological age. Fool, you can use that in 3.0.
Mhm.
Control it so that no other apparatus could sell shea butter or incense in the metaverse. You can control that right now, but you rather stand on a corner or pop up at an event and then wonder why you can't sell out. You're an idiot
Mhm.
in business. One of the greatest music moguls who dictated the sound of the late 80s, excuse me, the late 70s, all throughout the 80s was Dick Griffey and Solar Records. Now, you don't have to believe me. He created the soundtrack for that era, beginning with the group Shalimar, right? Midnight Star, Lakeside, all of these groups. He is the only music mogul that a lot of people don't discuss. They talk about Barry Gordy, P. Diddy, Suge Knight. He was in tune with Africanness. Understand that. He understood that he had an obligation to his people so that the music that was put out, it had to represent what he was, who he was, and where he wanted music to go. There is an episode of Unsung. If you have television and you have the option of demand, I want you to look at the story of Dick Griffey and tell me I'm a liar. Tell me I'm a liar. We have to change the dynamic. So I wish we had our brother Killer Priest on here. We'll try to reschedule that, brother Knowledge Born Allah, because I think he dropped something today, Save the Babies, which is fire. He
Definitely.
drops. You sent it to me earlier. He dropped
Yeah.
it today, fire, and his new joint, Mother, brother Tad. If you haven't heard it, for those of us whose mothers have transitioned, it's a piece that you must hear. It's a piece that you must hear. You can go on YouTube, check it out for yourself. Go on Apple Music, download it, or Prime Music, whatever apparatus you use, it's there. Please get into it. He speaks directly to those of us whose mothers have transitioned. Remember, even what they couldn't figure out in Wakanda and what black people can't figure out today is that allies are temporary.
Mhm.
Allies are temporary. They are
Mhm.
never permanent. Depends on the circumstance. If we don't understand that sometimes we may have to ally with folks who we don't like, but it should be our goal to use them for our purpose
Mhm.
and then cut them off when we're done. We
like they
got to,
do.
like they do us, Brother Tad. So,
Mhm.
with that, family, we're going to let you go. We won't be on next week. It's Misgivings Day, but spend time with
It's
your
my
family.
birthday.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
The
See,
Keisha
I like
singing
Stevie.
Stevie. It's Sister Keisha singing Stevie. Oh shit!
Just for me. Just for
Can't call
me.
me, can't
You.
call me a hater no more. You can't call
Only,
me that.
only Sister Marcia could do that.
What?
But
Oh, got
Get
her to
but
Sister
sing
Keisha
Stevie?
to
That's
sing.
right.
Sister Keisha to sing Stevie Wonder.
Yay.
time with your family.
That's
Um,
right.
use intelligence. Become an agent with your family. Engage in conversations. You'll be surprised. I got family members now trying to do research on our family that never would have thought so before if I hadn't brought it to the table. You understand what I'm saying? Use your intelligence and reach people where they are. Don't let these fools out here tell you to stay away from your family and this so. I wish a fool would. It's family over everything for me. So
Always.
a lot of people don't have that connection, unfortunately, but I do
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
both sides of my family. The
Mhm.
connection is real. Brother Tad has that. You understand what I'm saying? So if you can connect with your family, get some games, play some things, culture tags or something, and then develop conversations out of games. It's powerful. If I can tell you how I changed the dynamic of various family members by just getting in where I fit in, you'll be surprised. Years ago, my sisters, my cousins, we all had relaxed hair. I was the first one to cut it and lock it and say, I'm done. And everybody was like, you crazy. Your hair is long. It's beautiful. Why would you do that? I didn't tell them they had to do it. But when you look through the family dynamic, you're not gonna find anybody relaxed here. I got a lot of cousins. Lots. It just doesn't happen on that level anymore. I didn't tell them they had to do it. It only takes one person. It only takes one. So we're gonna close out, family. Brother Knowledge Born Allah, your final thoughts.
It's always an honor and a privilege to be over here where the thorough blacks talk. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a lost art. You understand what I'm saying? Black family forever. I could cross my arms on black family forever. You understand what I'm saying? And we are in a position to win. You see what I'm saying? If we don't take the opportunity to win, we pass that debt on to our next generation. We're in a position to win. If we don't see it, we don't see the opening, we don't realize the day and time and what must be done, then we'll be remembered or forgotten along with the failures. You understand what I'm saying? So don't pass something to somebody else that you can get done today. You know, be mindful of your family. Uh, be conscious of your family. Be cognizant of your family. And one of the greatest things that you could be to your family and to your people is an example. You understand what I'm saying? Be an example. So that's all I wanted to say. And Mother is out, and Killah Priest's other project, his newest project, Mr. Universe, is out. So you know,
Yes.
get those projects, and you know, y'all see me out there in the streets. Thank y'all for
Sister
having me.
Marcia, 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 you getting a lot of happy birthday wishes in the queue.
Yay! It's my birthday. I'm gonna be 12 again. No. Um, I want to say I want to say thank you, Thurber. I talk for having me again. This is an awesome show. Continue to bring down the knowledge. I want to say that it's not that I didn't like the movie, it's just that I think differently, and I want y'all all to go out there and use critical thought when you do anything outside, right? Read, walk, anything you do, even looking at the sky, critically look at the sky, because you'll definitely build your mind differently. You'll make that first impression that we all need to make that change. Like Sister Keisha said, she just did things and the rest followed through. So let's just do things critically, and everyone else will follow through. And with my favorite saying, may time flourish, may 2023 be a spectacular year for everyone, because it's my birthday, so it already starts. So enjoy yourselves, everyone. Peace.
Oh, and we gotta also say, Sister Marcia has set up an excellent guest for us the following week, which is December 1st. Um, we have Dr. Baina Bellows coming in. So we closing out the year with a bang.
Ooh,
Trust me when I
ooh.
tell you. We closing out 2022 with a bang. So be ready December 1st. Dr. Baina Bello will be our guest. Brother Tad, your final thoughts and comments, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. First of all, I want to thank my brother Knowledge Born for coming through. You know how we do. We always have off the cuff conversations on our private lines. So, that's my brother from another mother. Um, Shout out to our brother Blacksmith who fell out for some way, somehow. Thought he'd be back, but things happen. We live in real life in real time. Shout out to the brother Killah Priest. Hopefully he can reschedule sometime soon. We could get him back on. And to our family, our audience, those who always support us, our sister Tosh Monique, sister Farnessa, sister Pat, sister Vera, everybody, brother Idi Amin, brother Mike Grace, definitely brother Ray Ray. When we talk about being in good health, brother Ray Ray, my inspiration. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to hopefully I'll live long enough to be the age that he is and still with the physical strength that he has. I'll be looking at brother Ray Ray like I can't wait to get up to there. He be pushing big plates in the gym in the morning. So shout out to brother Ray, for real, and the whole William Mackey Jr. study group. Family, just remember the Thorough Black Talk. We're here for you. We're here to just provoke thought. We don't know it all, but we definitely going to point you in the right direction. Try to bring y'all people who are experts in their particular fields. Though we're no slouches here, as you can see. So hopefully you're inspired by some of the things you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
My brother, always right and on point. Um, and I love Brother Tag in a special way.
I love you too.
I just
You're
have to say that. He continues to grow and work on himself. And while doing that, he helps others. And that's a good thing. That's a good trait to have. Whether you agree or disagree with his perspective, it is a great humane um, thing to have within you. And that doesn't come just because he wants to do that. Whether he believes it or not, well, I know he knows it, but I'm saying it for you all who are watching. Our ancestors had lives that they wanted to live, and they could not fulfill it all. We carry that DNA. So maybe it was his third great grandfather who was speaking through his DNA right now that well, I know he realizes because I know what he thinks and I know how he thinks. You have to understand that. Your life is not your own. You carry a DNA generations and generations before you. And you have to understand how that works, good and bad. Good and bad. And so you have to know how to figure these things out. And life experiences will help you to do that. You just have to have your wits about you. And so, again, we thank you all for meeting us here every week on the Brooklyn Bridge. We will be back December 1st, back, black, and full effect. Let no one take you off your goddamn square. Nobody. And I mean what I say. Good night, family. All the best to you and your family. We out.